You see that nigga so ready to talk. I knew what I had to do. I knew my assignment. He was just so quick to get on that mic and talk.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay. The doctors had told me.
Hold on. Can somebody go open the door downstairs? The guest is here. Go ahead.
No, nigga. Go ahead.
They can edit that. They can edit that out.
No, this nigga fucked my whole training thought up. Oh, where's somebody at? Nigga,
if the guest is
I
here,
can't wait till the next time you talk. I'm gonna do all type of weird shit. I promise.
For the most part, to say, where were you when George Floyd was murdered?
Ooh. Now, yeah, sure I could say it. I'm gonna tell it if I could tell it. I'm telling it. So. What's happening? This Gator.
This General Mamba.
And this is the Gator and Mamba show. And today we're going to talk about the origin stories of how Gator and Mamba met.
I dig that.
Is that right?
How you and I put all this together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can dig into that.
First, though, I want to talk about the weekend, my man. So,
yeah.
I believe Saturday, you were supposed to hang out with me. We were supposed to watch the fight, right? But we had another event earlier in the day, and I seen you wobbling, right? But I wasn't sure what was happening with you. However, you didn't make it to the fight.
I didn't make it to the fight. Hey, check game. We had an event called, we have an organization called Create C, which is about cannabis and stuff like that. But, so, we had this event, and it's called Blunts and Bingo. Now, granted, I don't do no blunts. Cause you don't.
Man, I seen you eating a gummy, my man.
I said I don't do no blunts.
You was
Specifically,
high,
is what
but
I
you
said.
was high though.
Shit. Yeah, but you don't want me on blunts. Shit gets weird. Yeah. So the time was it was good. We was having a good time, and I don't necessarily do shots of whiskey, but I think that night was the mixture of the makers and the Jameson, and it wasn't the good shit either. It wasn't nothing that we popping on, but it was that bar mediocre shit. So
yeah, that cheaper shit.
Yeah,
that shit to get you drunk.
Yeah, and it did. I had every intention though. I was like, watch this fight because it was going to be a good fight. I know old boy was about to whoop some ass.
He whooped some ass.
Yeah, I seen the highlights. So yeah, you see me right when I left them up.
Oh yeah, I see you. I told Danny, I said, that nigga ain't gonna make it, man. He ain't gonna do it.
I don't even know how I made it home. Granted, I got home well, but I don't even remember what happened that night. Apparently I banged out.
The way your wife looked at you, she know how to I seen her look at you. I seen it.
Shit, live and learn. But you had a good time at the fight.
Absolutely. Wonderful time.
I heard you try to be young. Staying out to what? 3, 4, 5 a.m.?
Yeah, yikes. It happened.
Did you feel that the next day?
I seen a young lady. She was on top of her car, right? It was a Suburban. They parked in front of the strip club. She was doing the heel toe on the hood of the car. She jumped off, did the splits, right? She jumped back on the hood, right? And the only thing I could think was, man, whoever car it is, they gonna be mad as shit at all them dits and they shit, boy. They gonna wake up like, God damn. I done gave my car to my daughter. Then my daughter asked me the next day, hey, can I use your car? No.
Not after what I
seen. So
seen.
you can heel toe on my shit? Absolutely not. Yeah, it was fun, man.
So ultimately, we had a good weekend, though. That's what's up.
All right, well, let's get into it, man. I believe the question is going to be, where was you at when George Floyd passed?
Damn, you want to go solid. You want to go into the why we call this show Still Can't Breathe kind of aspect. You want to get deep. Where was I? I mean, I was at home. And I was at home watching social media just like everybody else for the most part. But it was late, actually, when I seen it. It was real late. So my mentality was, damn, man, they messing with another brother? Fuck, right? And in my mind at that time, I didn't think anything about, they killed him. I was just like, I think I just scrolled through it real fast, like, man, they fucking with another brother. And then I woke up and, it was all over everything. Like, they put his knee on his neck and killed him. And I was like, God damn, I was not surprised, You know how we have gotten. So I've whenever there had been a killing, you know, a police killing with one of us or whatever, you know, me being in the community to a certain degree, I always got around these brothers at these different times or whatever, brothers and community, and they'd be like, "We got to do something. We got to do something," and nobody ever did nothing, you know. But I was expecting these cats who was these, to me, they was like them top tier, like community type, whatever. But everybody kept talking and talking. You know, nobody made no serious moves. And you know, some of those serious moves is like, yo, we got to go out here and protect our shit. Just that's it. We can't keep talking about shit because talking ain't got nothing. They keep doing the same thing. We got police killings. I got them right here. The ones that just started to grind over and over and again. Philando Castile, Mike Brown, Jamar Clark, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Dante Wright, Amir Locke. My apologies. But just back to back over, which you know told me it was like y'all huffing and puffing, like let's shrug our shoulders back and throw some blows back, like let's make a move. Ain't nobody saying just jump right into it, but we got to put something physical on deck. So the next day, I made some calls and was talking to people and stuff like that, and to no avail. Nobody was responding back for the most part. Where were you?
Well, what happened with me was I had just had my baby, my daughter, but my daughter was born underneath a pound. So the doctors had told me.
Hold on. Can somebody go open the door downstairs? The guest is here. Go ahead.
No, nigga. Shut up. Fuck me, go ahead.
They can edit that. They can edit that out.
No, this nigga fucked my whole training thought up. Oh, where's somebody at?
Nigga, if the guest is
I
here,
can't wait
he's
till
here.
the next time you talk. I'm gonna do all type of weird shit. I promise.
So just ask the question again.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask it again.
Fuck.
So, my man, let me ask you, where were you when George Floyd was murdered?
I had a bit of a different situation. I had just had my daughter born. She was born under a pound, so the doctors had said that she wasn't gonna live. So I was at Children's Hospital, which was about maybe 7 blocks from the spot where George Floyd got killed, murdered. So I was down there, and as I was in the hospital, I ended up being in the hospital for like 9 months. But as I was living in the hospital, the worry was all the people who were there at that initial spot was going to come down to the hospital and you know raise hell, you know, be pissed off as they should be. So
Was that a lot of talk, like even with nurses and stuff? There was a lot of worry.
yeah, the whole hospital was worried. So the first thing I do, because I was emotional at that time, so the first thing I wanted to do was help, if you can understand me. And then, so I went outside, you know what I mean, and I sat in front of the hospital. And I waited till, you know, some people come, because the last thing that anyone was gonna do was get into the hospital to destroy my baby.
Hold on, so you you went outside. Your baby's in the hospital. You outside, and basically you on this. I wish your motherfucker would.
I wish you would. I wish you would. You
Real
know,
shit.
And I'm, you know, I'm just a guy. However, that was my baby up there. So, you know, but at the exact same time, I'm like, as such as yourself, I'm like, man, everybody keep talking about they go do something. They go do, we're gonna do something. So I'm like, I noticed at that particular point that the original Black Panthers was in Minneapolis at that time. And, you know, as a thought, I say, now, those are the motherfuckers who go do something. That's it right there. And so I attempted to get in touch with them at that moment.
All right. So ultimately, in doing this back and forth with understanding both of our backgrounds and stuff like that, you and I basically came to a meeting, if you will. We eventually got to that point. You had your world, I had my world, but something brought us together where we decided that's the nigga that I'm gonna keep building with and keep moving with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that something or someone was Two Tone.
Two Tone.
What's up, y'all?
Can I ask you
Who is
who is Two Tone to you?
Two Tone is the man to me. He the president, founder, Order of Ronin. Is that correct, Tone?
Yep.
Absolutely. It's a biker group in this world in Minnesota. They badass. I had the pleasure of riding with them. Not riding with them in the group, but riding alongside of them in my own group. But yeah, he the man.
So that's y'all's history. Y'all come from that biker background, and there's a lot to it.
Oh yeah,
a lot to it. Well, I know myself and Tone, we have a bit of a different relationship, if you will, and we had this. We have, because we still gonna probably keep it popping. Because we wrote a fucking book. Better get this bitch.
I'm waiting for it
published.
to be printed.
right. We better get this motherfucker published. But and nigga, I help with my money. No, we the group was called Relationship Revolution, and it's about Black couples getting together, going on trips together, building together, learning with each other, learning the ebbs and flows of relationships and stuff like that. And we was doing that for a couple years, and I think for the most part, COVID kind of killed that, but so did the murder of George Floyd too. That kind of stopped a lot of stuff, or whatever. Because I found another direction, if you will. So
you've been married quite a while, right? That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My wife and I have been together for 41 years, but we've been married since 2001. So
that's dope as shit.
That's right.
Yeah. Hence the reason for the relationship revolution. It's like I need to learn from this motherfucker. But I want to ask you the same question. For the most part, to say, where were you when George Floyd was murdered?
ooh. I actually was at work and started hearing all the commotion, kind of through people talking and whatnot, and then I ended up turning on the TV, trying to see what was going on, because all of a sudden there's a mass of people, and people are starting to, they're saying there's a problem, there's something going down, and you need to pay attention. And I don't like getting my news from the news, but I also don't like getting my news from Ray Ray on the corner. So.
Absolutely.
So you found that out and whatnot, and out of all the commotion and stuff like that, and I would love to know, because at this time I know myself, I got I can go. I don't want to go into detail, but I'll go a little bit. I got a phone call, and that phone call kind of changed, my life and my direction, if you will. And I decided, and I knew that I couldn't take this journey alone. I think I even told you, somewhat similar. It's like, I'm trying to do this, trying to get them things together, and you were like, I know a nigga just like you, right? And I was like, nah, you don't know nobody. But eventually, what was the intent? What was the reasoning on deciding, what, y'all probably make a good mix?
Well, I knew both of you in different worlds, but I knew our relationship together, and both of you have a business mind and a security mentality, and you know what I mean. Like when I say security mentality, I mean like you watching stuff. You keep your back to the wall. You paying attention to what's going on in the room. You know what I mean, and the little things that people don't notice, like that dude hasn't taken his hand out of his pocket the whole night. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. People don't even pay attention to it. They're just in the club having a good time, right? I'm in the club wondering who's about to rob it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So, and my background, grew up poor and whatnot, left for the military, became, special forces medic, and So security's always in my head. You know, I've done security at I don't know, every nightclub in town, basically, up to a point. So both of y'all was talking to me about the issues at hand and things going on and what you wanted to do, and your drive, in my mind, just fit together like a puzzle piece. And you know, I'm not a matchmaker or anything like that, but what hurt could it do to put two like-minded people together?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it was probably the best thing for black folks ever.
For real. Yeah, because he and I, since that introduction, I think it was back on my patio or whatever, and this nigga being himself was very stone-faced and shit like that. Like, yeah, okay, let's see what this nigga is talking about. You know, basically, that's him. Man, a few words for the most part, but I started chopping it up and telling him my direction and what I feel and stuff like that. And even at that time, actually, at that same time, I put an application in for the OBP or the original Black Panthers at the same time. And I was like, again, I was still like, I can't do this by myself. I need a team. I need a squad. I need people that's like-minded and stuff like that. And I told him about it, and I forgot. Were you like, okay? I think he was just with it. Like it was a bunch of head nods. It wasn't too much of the no stuff kind of thing, but it was a bunch of head nods.
I was like, I was with it. That was it.
Just period.
That was it. That's all I needed is to be connected. I was connected. It was go.
And since then, we've been continuously building and dealing with the
racism in America.
The fact that we still can't breathe.
Racism in Minnesota. We can't breathe.
Specifically Minnesota. That's one of the major reasons why, you know, we're just here. It's just to be like, you know, I think we did a statistic or read the statistic that says if you Google it right now, you'll see that in terms of the worst places for black, brown people. I'm just talking about black right now because I'm black. Black people, the worst city is is Minnesota in terms of its
second worst.
It's second worst. You're right. In terms of its institutions, we got the worst in terms of education for black people. We got the worst in terms of jobs. We got the worst in terms of real estate, et cetera, et cetera. Google it. Y'all know who's number one? Number one's Wisconsin. Number three, anybody?
Iowa.
Oh. Number 4 and 5, yep, you can keep pointing them out, and it's all around this little motherfucker. And the funny part is, y'all remember or read or know about being in Mississippi, Arkansas, whatever, the transition to these better states because of fear and stuff like that, right? This overt racism and stuff, because of fear of being hung and stuff like that. And everybody move here, and we think we all good, and you know we even got called. I remember back in the days like uppity and stuff like that, because you know you talk a little different and stuff like that. And you come up here, and you find out you're worse than Alabama.
Yeah, you went from overt to covert quickly.
Right.
So you saying they ain't got plantations? They got Minnesota nice.
Minnesota nice. That should go to right there. Mm-hmm. That should go to.
Yeah, I ain't never. I grew up here. I was born here, actually, in St. Paul, and everyone talked about Minnesota nice. I just looked at them like,
who?
What the hell are you talking about?
and nice.
And I'm light skinned, so I can kind of fit in a little easier than a lot of people. And then I can turn on the business acumen. I can speak very well and properly. I'm very articulate.
My mama can do that too.
Shut the fuck up. I worked in corporate for a long time, so I had to wear that mask for a long time.
For the viewers, I'm a nigga. I can never sound like nothing but a nigga.
He's right.
Look, I got in trouble. I was teaching a class. I was teaching adults, medical students, and they kept telling me how I didn't know where they came from and I didn't know what they were about. And so finally I got tired and sat them down, and we spent the whole day just talking about how I grew up and where I came from and whatnot, and ended the class with, I'm that nigga. I got called into the dean's office, and she's like, did you use the N-word in class? I said, I sure did. She said, well, I'm not going to ask, but could you please refrain from doing that? I said, well, I'll do my best.
Right. I'm just calling how I see it, lady.
I know they don't remember this. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Back in the days, Tupac say, "Nigga mean never ignorant, getting goals accomplished."
Yeah.
Well, I like still talking about this because even at that, as we're talking about, and this is still our origin story, if you will, people don't know and understand that from Jump Street, and Jump Street is a old school term. It's from 21 Jump Street, the show. But
Wow. Come on, I ain't trying to show
but we were on the front line since day one, and not just say that there were a number of organizations. That's another thing we want to talk about.
Shout out to the freedom fighters.
That's another thing to talk about is people think that it was just the whole George Floyd thing or whatever, but the aftermath of it. We had cats coming into South Minneapolis, North Minneapolis that ain't had no business being there, basically, shooting at cats and shit like that, to where we had to arm up. Like, cats had to...
We had people planting things in alleyways.
Yep.
Like, we found, like, crude, rudimentary bombs and stuff in alleyways.
Yep. And groups like the Freedom Fighters or the OBP, and there was a number of bikers that got together too. I remember that too. Everybody was out to protect the neighborhood. Everybody was out because it's like, we're mad about one thing, but what is these people coming in trying to burn shit down and all that?
It was everybody that society say is a bad guy. But boy, when shit hit the fan, they was the first people out there making sure that they could protect the people who was a little shaky.
Yep. And it was black, white, Hispanic, etc. all together on the one element saying, nah, don't come to our neighborhood doing that bullshit. They was all out there together. We was all out there together protecting that interest. And that's something that they don't fucking talk about on news and shit like that. But all of us know it because we was in the thick of that shit. We was in the thick of the shit, bullets flying by and shit. We was in the thick of the shit where we had to drive and chase bitches out North Minneapolis that we know was there. We was
They
hitting
was called
corners.
Proud Boys. They was called Proud Boys.
Proud bitches.
Yeah,
but we was
remember
rolling. we was rolling and chasing motherfuckers out of there or whatever. But that's shit that they don't tell you. And that is the aspect in regards to Still Can't Breathe. It's just letting you know that people was out here doing hardcore shit. Shit that they had to take themselves out of their natural comfort zone. You had to go to war. You had to put yourself to war because you didn't know what was going to happen and shit. And we was all together on it.
So you really saying is that when it was time, when people, as far as they knew, had to go to war, they had to take up arms, they did so, and they did it and they connected with each other.
Exactly.
They looked like each other.
Exactly.
And they was going to ride for each other.
I'll tell you this, like in the poorest neighborhoods, we do a lot of drives for kids. You know, our motorcycle club does a lot of stuff for kids. Like we do a book bag and school supply drive. We do a winter coat drive. We do an Easter egg hunt. We do this stuff every year. And you see these people standing on corners with a sign like, hey, I'm broke, I need some money, whatever. We do it. We had some signs professionally made up. We stood out there with a helmet. And as soon as people knew we were doing something for the kids, in the poorest neighborhoods, over North Minneapolis, people donated the most money. Mm-hmm. We tried it in other places. I mean, no disrespect to Brooklyn Park or anything like that, but North Minneapolis, no matter what, that's the go-to. And I mean, we'd bring in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and just standing on the corner for a few hours each day for the weekend.
Yeah.
And just to make this clear, you do that every year.
Every year. Mm-hmm. But we haven't done it. We haven't done it since COVID. I put it that way. Okay. But our club has. We've had enough money in the bank that instead of standing on the corner and hoping and praying someone's going to give us the money, we just kicked in and did it.
Yep.
What was your biker name again?
Two Tone.
No.
The club is Order of Ronin Motorcycle Club.
Yep.
There it is. If you didn't know, viewers, if you didn't know, look them up.
And the funny part is during COVID, after all of that, like people would think we're woe is me ass shit. Like there was not this woe is me ass shit when it came. It was We got your brown berets. We got people all over that just coordinating and working with each other who have didn't really work fully with each other before. But as they saw the need for the community, everybody banded together and it was like, nah, we gonna do this. What you need food over here, we're gonna get food over here. Y'all need medical supplies, y'all need protection, we got all this. Like everything was coordinated.
Are we able to talk about our sophisticated dispatch system? Or are we keeping that under the wraps?
I think that's for a later conversation, man. He always jumps the fucking gun, man. Like we got a whole thing.
I'm just saying, we
that's
was
all
them
MIB
boys.
we talking
was
about.
them boys out there when it was going down. We was them boys. I'm just saying. And for the viewers, if you think I'm just talking shit, I promise you we got some footage to show you.
Oh, we got a lot of footage. That's one of the dopest things about. And when we talk about we was on the front lines, we were very vital in making sure that key witnesses for the trial were taken care of. We were, and not just me. It was a group. It was never just me. It was never just him. We had a collective of people that got together and we didn't go to the news and say, "Hey, we're doing this." We kept shit under the radar and we kept shit moving. So it was a beautiful ass thing, and it's just something that it ain't talked about. It ain't talked about because y'all don't know it, and sometimes. Warriors and soldiers don't really need to talk about shit. We just keep shit moving, and that's the way it goes.
Excuse me, warrior. I got a question for you. What was the most craziest event that happened at that time?
Oh, that was after the murder of Dante Wright. Yes, Brooklyn Center. I'm talking to y'all. We were in literally the middle of the Brooklyn Center Police Department and Sheriff Department and so on and so forth, and the rest of everybody else. And we were in the middle just to say, okay, y'all can yell, y'all can cuss, y'all can be mad or whatever. Just say it, but don't throw rocks and shit like that. Just trying to keep shit peaceful. Now, as time progressed, right, shit was what it was. But there were a couple of what do you call those? Sound grenades? What do you call those? Percussion grenades. Percussion grenades that were accidentally thrown right in the middle of where we were.
The one that hit my foot?
Yeah, the one that hit your foot.
Flashbangs.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna let that pass because a big ass rock from the crowd was coming this way.
Yeah.
So I'm only saying just that little part only because we were in the thick of it. And everybody was in the thick of it. Everybody was doing their part or whatever. And we always tapped in one another to make sure that people had water, people had food, people had whatever. And most of all, people were protected. Because as soon as people felt protected, then everything else everything else mattered. That was our big deal about it.
How about you, Tuto?
Yeah.
What's the craziest shit that happened at that time?
I mean, I would love to speak on it, but I think it's still in litigation, so I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, the second to crazy.
I'm not snitching on nobody. I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. I was not there. I was at home in my bed.
Absolutely. I think I said it in the first episode. I don't know nothing. You asking me nothing either. What about the second thing?
There was a lot of crazy stuff going on, and I'll put it this way: what I thought my role was, I didn't mind being out there on the front lines, but my role I thought was to sit back and talk to people and calm people and let them see things from a different perspective. You can be mad, you can be as mad as you want to be, but don't be mad and fall into their system and fight their system that you have to answer to in their system. It doesn't make sense. Right. Fight it with their own rules. You know what I mean? Fight it so you can come home to your family tomorrow. So you can be, so you don't have to be incarcerated because you wanted to stand up and the only people that heard you were the people that were near you.
Right. I think that was one of the major things about us. Is like before we even made any type of move, we actually sat down and talked to a criminal attorney. Seth, shout out to Seth. We sat down and talked with Seth, and we were like, hey, man, this is what the plan is. The simplest thing that we want to do is just go out and make sure that people are cool, but we want to drive through, stop here, stop there, We're going to have our firearms with us, but we're going to make sure that just, collectively people are cool and safe. So we dug into his brain for a while and got a lot of Minnesota statutes and stuff like that. So we didn't just go out there, random like, stop and change. It was conversations even with people when we were out there. It's like, hey man, you don't need to answer. Go ahead, chill out, blah, blah, blah. Just teaching people about, law or whatever, or their constitutional right while we was out and stuff like that. Just making sure that everyone was aware for the most part.
Are you sure, man? Because I got a post on TikTok, and a lot of white folks say we just jump out there and we might shoot ourselves, and they say a whole bunch of negative shit. You sure that we did all that?
I'm fairly positive we actually have it on video, but
Well, I mean, that's the same thing about the motorcycle clubs. Everybody sees motorcycle clubs like the Hells Angels and Sons of Silence and Sons of Anarchy and all this stuff. Like that's. I mean, there are motorcycle clubs like that, but they're the minority. Most of the motorcycle clubs out here are hardworking people who, they law-abiding citizens.
Yep.
Tone, I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. The biker community has the strongest brotherhood I have ever been the fortune of being a part of. It's just a brotherhood that make you feel welcome. You know what I mean? And you never want to give it up. So you know what I mean? Despite what anybody might say about it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people equate the biker world to the gang world, and a brother told me this. He said, "You want to know the main difference I see in that?" I said, "No, what's that?" And he said, "Well, in the gang, if he got on your colors, you gonna stand behind him and you gonna help him out. But in the biker world, if he's on two wheels, no matter what colors are on his back, you're gonna pull over and help him out."
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we rode together, we was in different clubs. Like, I ride with all the clubs out here, and I don't care about that patch on your back. I'm not saying I don't care about it, but I'm saying it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the man in front of the patch. If I can stand there and have a conversation with you, I don't care if you got a Trump patch on your back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can have a conversation, then that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, at least that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you're saying if I had a Trans Am, I couldn't be a biker?
No, if you got three wheels, you ain't no biker. You
That's funny because I remember I mentioned this to him. He was like, "No, fuck no."
Because he a triker.
I mean, even though the state of Minnesota calls Can-Ams and all them, they call them motorcycles. But have you ever seen one in a formation? Yeah, it's hard. No. It's rough.
Big ass two wheels sticking out the whole formation. Stop it.
Yeah, they made hard fun of me. It was like, nah, you can't ride. You might as well learn how to ride or don't ride at all.
I told you I'd teach you.
Yeah.
I think he went to get his license, man.
Really?
Yeah. And still haven't rode a bike since.
Well, I got I passed it and everything. I'm straight. So.
I got a bike you can practice on right now.
You scared?
What?
Go practice right now. Take the cameras. Take the cameras. Let's go outside and let's see this nigga ride his bike. He's scared. I'm trying to tell you.
Well, as Tone said.
You've been drinking? Wow.
So I'm gonna obey the law in that sense. I'm gonna ask you, what was the craziest moment during all of this for you?
Now, yeah, sure I could say it, because I'm going to tell it if I could tell it. I'm telling it. So, we was over north Minneapolis, and there was a white truck. Now, I know maybe some people got some video or some people got some idea of what I'm talking about, but there was a white truck. In this white truck, it was about 3 white dudes, hat backwards. And they was trying to shoot at black folks it was late, it was about 12:30 at night too, right? They thought they had to cover a dark. And they was trying to shoot at black folks. And we rolled up on them, right? Now, this is the crazy part. One of them faces that I seen was an officer that worked for MPD. I seen him myself. So then I say, Hell no, they ain't really got police shooting at average citizens around here. But they did. Now you put that sucker in front of me, I identify him. You call me a snitch all you want to, I tell on him. Now.
But that is a lot of the shit that we seen. We legit seen a cat pull up in, what is that? Is it North Commons? North Commons. We was pulling up, saw a dude get out, saw a dude shoot in the air. It was a white dude. Shoot in the air, pow, 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 pow. Got in his car, drive off, and we had to chase him out. Just to obviously stir some controversy, to get people riled up or whatever the case or whatever. We seen.
Wait a minute, man. Who gave you authority to be just chasing motherfuckers that's shooting at people?
My people gave me authority.
Who is your people?
All of them.
What do they look like?
Look like you, nigga.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's all I got. I mean, it's a blessing to have you here, brother. This was great to relive, recap, and to go over all of this or whatever together. It's been a while since even we talked this thorough about this capacity or whatever. So I appreciate you coming by. You forever a lifeline. So you're a brother for life.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me.
For life.
And look, hey, always, like I said, it's the man in front of me that makes a difference to me. So, I think both of y'all brothers is doing things, and I look forward to see what comes. And I'm also looking forward to them royalties from that book.
I get it.
I told you that nigga try to rob me, but I told y'all.
Hollis, the book.
Yes, Hollis.
Right.
Yes. We even have a publisher. We got it
Sure
situated.
did. We had all of it done. That shit is crispy. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you.